President Obama has directed his military commanders to coordinate closely with their Korean counterparts to ensure readiness and to deter future aggression.
As your superintendent indicated, under our constitutional system, my power as president is wisely limited. But there are some areas where my power is absolute.
I have fantasized, don't get me wrong, but that what if we could just beat China for a day? I mean, just one day, where we could actually, authorize the right solutions. And I do think there is a sense of that on everything from the economy to environment.
Blue Monday, how I hate Blue Monday. Got to work like a slave all day.
It is the savage nation as freedom wanes and crypto-fascism rears its ugly head. I welcome you to the savage nation. Today's topic is death of a nation. The phone number is 1-800-449-8255. You just heard some of the most astonishing speeches that you're going to hear your entire life. You heard the President of the United States of America saying that he has absolute power at a speech before the troops or the would-be leaders of our troops at West Point over the weekend, saying he has absolute power with a certain degree of narcissism and arrogance never seen in modern American history. That was followed by a reporter for the New York Times named Friedman, who exemplifies the fifth column I have been warning you about here on the Savage Nation for months. New York Times' Friedman saying he wishes we could be China for a moment so that things could be done the right way. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the crypto-fascism of the phony liberals of the United States of America. I am here to talk with you today about the death of a nation on the Savage Nation. At the same time we are talking about this, there is the death of the environment in the Gulf, albeit empowered by Napolitano and Obama, who have dragged their feet either by accident, through incompetence, or on purpose. People are speculating why the government has done zero, nada, nothing. Zero, nada, nothing with the greatest environmental disaster in American history. If this was a Republican president, I can guarantee you the crypto-fascists at the New York Times would be screaming bloody murder. At the same time, what I told you when it happened, the attack on the South Korean warship was in fact an act of war by North Korea. It took the government over a month to admit this. Yes, my friends, these are very dangerous times. Walking to lunch today to my favorite greasy Chinese restaurant on this Blue Monday, I saw a large DHS deportation bus sitting with its windows blacked out on the street. These buses are all over the place down here in San Francisco. And I thought to myself, this is about as serious as it gets. We have all these buses. They seem to be running them full time, taking back this surge of humanity that insists on coming across the border to a nation that we all love, yet the liberals seem to disdain. A nation that is so wonderful that millions keep trying to break into it, yet the liberals keep telling us what a terrible nation it is. And I thought to myself, this is serious business. It's very serious when we have an internal enemy that is so incredibly ingrained in the government and the media. Witness that we have brave men and women working around the clock in the Department of Homeland Security, doing their jobs, risking their lives in gang task forces and other such units of the DHS, only to have their incredibly brave and hard work overridden by the officials at the top, the sellouts, the government bureaucrats put in there by Obama and the bankers. It's very similar to the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Very similar to what happened to our troops in Korea and Vietnam. Our troops, through great blood and courage, actually won the Tet Offensive, yet the vermin in the media, led by the overt, outright anti-American communist Walter Cronkite, declared that the Vietnam War was over because the Tet Offensive by the communists had been won. The same is going on now. The troops win it, the politicians lose it. It's the same whether it's DHS or FBI or the local police department. And now it comes down to we the people. The Gulf of Mexico, tell me why that is not getting solved. Again, the politicians, through foot-dragging, inefficiency, turf wars, and plain outright stupidity, are unable to stop the greatest ecological disaster in American history. Again, the troops on the ground are fighting the oil disaster. The politicians are stopping them. They're losing it. This is all part and parcel with the death of a nation. I'm Michael Savage. The phone number is 1-800-449-8255. How do you feel about Obama saying he has absolute power? How do you feel about Hillary Clinton saying, Yes, she's going to do something about Korea, but what? Should we back South Korea and go to war with Dr. Ill? Do you fear that North Korea could hit the west coast of the United States with a nuclear weapon? Do you believe the reports that North Korea was involved in the explosion of the Gulf oil rig, which caused the oil spill? That was a conspiracy theory that occurred soon after this oil disaster. It came out of a Russian military source, and it was hushed up. But I want to ask you a question. Why did Obama send tax squads to the Gulf right after this accident? Do you think China will step in to control North Korea or continue using Mr. Ill as its junkyard dog? How do you think Obama will act toward North Korea in the coming days? What's the worst thing that could happen if South Korea goes to war with North Korea? These are the questions on the Savage Nation. What I want to do for you right now is play for you again, now that I have your attention, Hillary Clinton on North Korea, Barack Obama on absolute power, and Thomas Friedman, the crypto-fascist of the New York Times, wishing that we were living in China, that we could all become China for a day. Listen.
President Obama has directed his military commanders to coordinate closely with their Korean counterparts to ensure readiness and to deter future aggression.
As your superintendent indicated, under our constitutional system, my power as president is wisely limited. But there are some areas where my power is absolute.
I have fantasized, don't get me wrong, but that what if we could just be China for a day? I mean, just one day, you know, I mean, where we could actually, authorize the right solutions. And I do think there is a sense of that on everything from the economy to environment.
Do you hear this? Authorize the right solutions along the line of China, along the line of North Korea. So the crypto-fascist, good liberal vermin, Thomas Friedman, wishes we were China for a day so that we could have absolute power in the hands of Barack Hussein Obama. And so I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, these are strange times indeed, when people who are so deluded as to think that they're the good guys, when in fact they are the pure evil of our time. Thomas Friedman represents pure evil, and I'll tell you why. An absolutely evil man who comes to you with hatred and anger and a gun in his hand, you know what to do to protect yourself. But a cowardly, spineless, Woody Allen type of liberal is in fact the most dangerous of all evils. Last week at Cannes Film Festival, Woody Allen wanted a dictatorship in America. Today we read that Thomas Friedman, the spineless, Upper East Side, communist internationalist, says, why can't we be China for a day? And so you see that the liberals of today are everything we've been warning you about. They are, in fact, the neo-fascists of today. It is people like me who are in tune with the original meaning of the word liberal, which means leave me the hell alone, which means smaller government, which means government out of my life, which means liberty. It does not mean tyranny. And so I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, these are strange times indeed. And so to begin this Monday again, I play Blue Monday. I will soon take your calls at 1-800-449-8255 on The Savage Nation.
Got to work, here come Tuesday, oh Tuesday. I'm so tired, got no time to play.